Annyeonghaseyo. These days I like greeting in Korean. Anyway, I came back from church today and I wanted to sleep because I felt it was the weekend and I hadn't rested and I would like to rest. However, in my mind, I know I had work to do. For instance, my blog, the inspo, is there. I haven't prepared the posts that I'm supposed to send out for next week. And I was like, instead of sleeping, why don't I work on that? When I'm done, I'll go to sleep. However, I found myself on Instagram. There, I saw a notification to follow one of my friends, Adeze. I am not a social media person or I don't do social media except for WhatsApp. And I decided to change all of that because I know I have a message to pass across that's, I left here. So I saw Adaise's message, I think the first video she recorded, and it hits me on the head like a knock. Boom. I have had these messages to pass across to the world the insights and knowledge I have gleaned from my walk with God. But I always felt I had too much on my plate that I wanted to, do away with. So I can create space for the time I would need, the time, resources, and energy I would need to, do the messages or the video recordings or the writings that I need to send out to the world to whoever it is that needs the said messages. So far, in my head, I believed I didn't have the time to do that. And so, like the chief in the land of procrastination that I am, I said to, procrastinate and leave the job undone. Until this morning, when I saw Adese's video recording, I was reminded of the fact that the blog, the inspo, isn't enough. On the blog, I was thinking I was going to do majorly writing, but there are some persons like me. These days, I don't really have so much time on my hands to say I want to chill and read. I would rather listen while I walk. So if I'm not listening to a podcast, I'm listening to a video while I'm working, I am listening. So I don't really have the time to sit down and read. Hence the idea to kickstart my videos and post them mainly through YouTube. Hence the bet of this version of the inspo. Okay, so one of the things that I am passionate about, that I'm very sure I'm passionate about, that I thought of that made me want to do this is the thought of those people that are facing depression or those people that are having suicidal thoughts. I have changed, like I tell people around me, I have changed. The original me, the original version of me when I was a kid is quite judgmental. I won't say I'm holier than thou, but I was close to that. For me, everything is black or white. There is no, what is it called? There is no room for the gray region or the in between. However, as time went on, I realized that there's a reason why we don't have only black and white colors in the world. We have 1,001 colors that people can mix and come up with. So, in order to make room for those colors, I decided to change my mindset, change my mentality, and change the glasses with which I view things. I'm a Christian, and the Bible says that the measure with which we give is the measure with which we receive. In other words, whatever size or whatever scale we use to judge people is what people are going to in turn use to judge us. This is karma. What goes around comes around if we are following the universal laws and principles. So I decided to step back remove the cap or the wig of the judge and allow God do his judging. While I, on the other hand, decided to study psychology to understand why people act the way they do. And in my process of study, I learned a few things. I am still studying, I haven't learned all there is to learn. So I've learned a few things, and I realized one thing. Yes, I'm touched by the children that have nothing to eat. Yes, I'm touched by the plights of the widows. Yes, I'm touched by people suffering in areas where there are constant and persistent wars. The set of human beings that touch me the most are those that are suffering from depression. And for me, the ultimate is depression that eventually leads to suicide. Death, suicide is not a solution. It's just you creating problems for other people. Like my father usually say, the end of one problem is the beginning of many others. Yes, a person might decide to commit suicide because they think that is the only solution they have to their problem. They forget that they are not going to bury themselves after they have died. Their bodies are going to be left behind. And those bodies that they are leaving behind becomes a problem for whoever is around to bury or do away with. So it's literally forming problems for other people and not solving the problems at hand. Hence, the birth of this series of the Inspo. This is to reach out to as many that are suffering from one problem or the other, especially the emotional ones. Where I come from, Nigeria, we are groomed to be resilient, to a lot of pressures that life may bring our way. We are thick skinned. That's how we are groomed. As such, there are some things that shouldn't be seen as norm that are taken as norm. That's why in one of my posts, I can't remember which, I said, it isn't until, I think in one of my reviews, I said it isn't until a person is walking around outside stark naked before we know the person is suffering from mental issues or mental ill health, that it doesn't have to get that far. There are different facets to mental health, or in this case, ill health, that are not being considered, which is what I am trying to prevent or trying to change in the lives of people that are suffering from them. Now, still on the matter of depression and committing suicide. Like I said, I used to be quite judgmental until the year of COVID when they told us to stay at home. That was 2020. Yes, COVID-19. Then in 2020 we had to stay at home. Now, during the stay at home period, I had no money because where I was working decided to slash our salaries in half. When they couldn't continue paying the half payments, the salary ceased, and I had no money. I had to borrow from online lenders, online microfinance institutes that lent money. And there is one thing to borrow and another to know that you have a source from which you can get money to pay back. In this case, I was borrowing without getting money to pay back because my source of income had ceased. And then I thought about my life, thought about things, and this voice in my head said, what's the point to life? What's the point? There's no point. Why not end the whole thing? Go get something, drink something, overdose or something. Even sniper, that was the reigning thing then. Take sniper and you're dead. The moment the voice came, I remember I was in my kitchen washing dishes. The moment the voice came, instantly I knew that was the voice of the devil. And like Christ said, "Get thee behind me, Satan." I said, "Get thee behind me, Satan. You can't get me. I won't die. I shall live to declare the works of the Lord in the land of the living." No, that isn't my portion. This is just a phase, and this too shall pass, because nothing in this life lasts forever. This too shall pass. Not long after I had that thought and I rebuked the devil, my school called some of us back to come to what's it called? Online classes for the children that were at home. And I was among the fortunate people that were called back. And so I went back to work, and the salary was not the normal package, but it was better than nothing. And I was able to offset some of the debts I had incurred while I was at home. Now, during that period, I got the news of the death of an Indian actor. Right now, I can't remember his name, but I know him as Manav. Don't mind me, I'm bad with names. I know him as Manav in one of the Indian series I watch on Z World. The moment I heard Manav was dead, the first thing that came to my mind was, what killed him? I checked. They said he committed suicide. And I was like, why would he do that? Why would he leave these problems for some other persons to solve? What was it that he was facing that he couldn't resolve? Then I remembered he was a celebrity of sorts. Now, celebrities, they are another concern of mine that I may not go into in this particular clip. So I was like, oh, Manav was a celeb as such. I wouldn't expect him to do things the way a normal person like me would do, because that is celebrity status kind of like sets some form of restrictions before him that I don't have. But then he's still a human being. And I was like, if only he had people that he could talk to, if only he had messages that had come across to him, if only he knew that a living dog was better than a dead lion. If only he knew all of this. And unfortunately, he didn't know them, probably. That was why he committed suicide. And I was like, oh no, I have procrastinated a lot. I need to start this. But did I start? No, I didn't. Not until today that I got to see Adora's message, Adaise's message. And I was like, babe, you've procrastinated a lot. You have procrastinated enough. Let's put an end to it. It's better we start and then we proceed. They are not starting at all. So here is me starting. And like I said, aside from those people suffering mental health or mental ill health, another set of human beings that really, really, really are like my people in Chinese, the Chinese will say, chincha, chincha, chincha. Seriously, is it Chincha, Chinese or Korean? One of them. Sorry, I'm mixing the languages up. One of them would say Chincha. Really, really, really. Another set of human beings that are a cause of concern for me are the celebrities. But I'll go into their gist, or I'll go into their talk at a later clip. So until next time, like I tell my kids, please remain positive and blessed be.